Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I'm Shamela Pullen. Here's what we have in the bulletin.
Broadcast the Cliff Hughes recuperating after hospitalization. JPS eyes areas to grow business. And later in sport, World Anti-Doping Agency sent appeal to CAS regarding athlete Skylar Franklin.
Now the details. Opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, is blasting Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton, calling for action over chaos at the University Hospital of the West Indies. Dr. Dawes demands Dr. Tufton to be held accountable as UHWI crisis deepens. He was speaking at a PNP conference a short while ago.
In spite of everything that's happened, repeatedly, scandal after scandal that have been brushed away by an untouchable minister with his untouchable servants, we have to take firm action in this regard. It is a dark day for Jamaica, where the Prime Minister is unwilling or afraid to act against a minister in which the public has lost total confidence, and in which the institutions of the society are all agreed that this person does not enjoy their trust or faith.
The Jamaica Public Service, JPS, says it is eyeing a number of areas to grow its business to reduce the cost to its customers. This comes against the background of slowing growth between 2015 and 2025, where growth slowed from 2.5% to being flat. President of the Light and Power Company, Hugh Grant, says through growth, the additional sales can be distributed over a wider base to result in a reduction of the price paid by customers. Mr. Grant says becoming a site for a data center could ease some of the burden now being felt by customers.
With the advent of AI, that there are data centers throughout the world, and I think it's an opportunity for Jamaica to do more to attract data centers here, Jamaica and JPS, and we have already had some conversations with Flow and some other telecom providers. Just by order of magnitude, one data center can be in the order of, say, 30 megawatts. That's in the order of, with our peak demand of near 600 to 700 megawatts. You can see that's near like 5%. So that right there is an opportunity to have growth in a dense way that I think will serve us very well.
He adds that increasing investment in green energy will also play a key role in cost savings.
If you think of share of the wallet in regards to energy, both in terms of, say, fuel prices and, say, electric consumption, what would it look like to electrify the transportation sector here in Jamaica? And in terms of share of the wallet, the reality is the cost to charge is about 50% of what it would take to actual fuel and get the same range right now based on the EVs out there. So there's a lot more to be done in that space in terms of what can be done to stimulate electrification of the transportation sector.
The St. Catharines South Police Division is advising vehicle owners whose investigations are complete to collect their vehicles from police premises. While some vehicles remain at the police compound for court-related reasons, many of them can now be collected.
We have different categories of vehicles that are here. Some vehicles are being held because of evidential purposes. Some are as a result of accidents, and the investigations are complete. We have great difficulty in getting to some of these persons who own the vehicles. So contact numbers have changed, email addresses we're not getting responses to the messages sent. So what we're asking for individuals who have a vehicle that may have met in an accident and is been stored at the Portmore police station to get in touch with the police with a view of retrieving your vehicle. Failure to do so, we'll have to engage a process to have them auctioned.
Concerns are mounting over the use of artificial intelligence in the digital age. The issue took center stage during a panel discussion on Thursday at the International Data Privacy Conference at the University of Technology, UTech.
Debate over the use of artificial intelligence is becoming even more prevalent now that AI is featured in many aspects of life. But there's concern among young people. An over-reliance on the technology could weaken critical thinking. Worries too that privacy and personal data are under threat.
For example, if I'm abroad or, abroad, and I'm taking a picture and you see the Statue of Liberty behind me in my post, they will say, yes, she's in New York. And they'll be able to track my location based off of that.
But Information Commissioner Celia Barkley pushed back on those fears.
Persons seek to use AI in a way that AI takes over, which is not the intention, I believe, of the persons who developed it. Now, you can look at different aspects, as Samantha mentioned, of, for example, your privacy program. There are areas where you can very effectively use AI. So, for example, if you start with the basics in terms of crafting your policies, can you use AI to develop policies? Can you use AI to provide guidance into how to build out your framework?
Other experts argued that the issue is not AI, but how it's being used. They say AI is highly effective, especially in today's digital age, but with proper oversight, the technology can deliver real benefits.
I want to make sure that as a new AI application is being developed, that the requirements include strong transparency and strong disclosure requirements, so we can keep our data subjects informed of how their data is being used.
The experts urged a balanced approach to AI, as understanding its limits is key to making it work.
Managing privacy in the age of AI and digital mistrust is a very timely topic of discussion. Artificial intelligence, automation, and data-driven technologies are rapidly reshaping our societies, economies, and institutions. In this environment, data privacy is no longer purely a technical or legal consideration. It is a governance imperative and a foundation of ethical, responsible innovation.
Kerry-Ann Simpson, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, Minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister and responsible for science and technology, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, says the government is actively pursuing digital transformation.
You would have seen over the last 10 years advances in terms of digital transformation, and we are moving at speed to ensure that Jamaica is at pace or even ahead of some of the countries in this hemisphere.
That this is critical, as you cannot ask people to accept new technology by faith.
So you cannot have stories out there that people are being victimized, that their data are exposed to, criminals. Yet at the same time, we are asking them to interact with the government on a digital basis. It doesn't make sense. And so data privacy and how we treat with data becomes critical as we advance technologies in our society.
As National STEAM Education Week 2026 unfolds across the island, attention has been turned not only to national conversations about innovation and workplace transformation, but taking STEAM education to the classroom for a young age. Alia Bryant reports.
The Council of Community Colleges of Jamaica, CCCJ, hosted the landmark event under the theme STEAM Innovation and Jamaica's Human Capital Transformation. Speaking at the symposium, Principal of Knox Community College, Dr. Davia Ramjeet, emphasized that building a national STEAM ecosystem is critical for Jamaica to remain competitive in a rapidly changing global economy, drawing on lessons from China's STEAM model.
There needs to be a more coordinated national STEAM ecosystem. The recommendation is that there needs to be a policy alignment and investment in teacher development. So even though we are not a first world country, we recognize that we are having the same first world issues.
She highlighted Jamaica College, one of the island's oldest secondary schools, which has a STEAM program designed to prepare young learners from early childhood to succeed in higher education and future careers.
It is essential for the conversation and the implementation to start at 0 to 5. It cannot begin at higher education.
And to achieve this, she proposed,
we want to have tri-sector partnerships with the Ministry of Education. Of course, Heart Trust is back in our ministry. Industries like JPS, Digicel, and Grace Kennedy. Innovation ecosystems, establish STEAM hubs in community colleges, linked to local industries and innovation centers. Why does this matter? This will ensure STEAM is not just an educational fad, but a driver of national development.
Aliyah Bryant, TVJ News.
The National Parenting Support Commission says parental involvement in schools is often limited and does little to build the parenting skills needed to improve student outcomes. The commission says while parents may be present in school activities, that involvement does not always translate into meaningful engagement that supports children's learning and development.
What we're interested in is actually parental involvement in education, which is very different from parental involvement in school. Parental involvement in education relies on intentional efforts to, one, include parents in the whole educational lives of their children through structures that are established through schools, and also, two, to ensure that we're building their capacities as we're asking them to be involved.
The National Parenting Support Commission model promotes structured school plans, parent education programs, among other things. The commission outlined what parents' involvement in education looks like.
Who is an expert farmer could be called to the school to do a presentation in a social studies lesson on farming, and that goes beyond just reading in the social studies book that agriculture is another name for farming. You're bringing the curriculum to life.
She went further.
There's also something in schools called a curriculum implementation team, and on that team is an opportunity for a parent to volunteer and sit on that team, and that team is responsible for the monitoring of the implementation of the national standards curriculum.
Senior broadcaster Cliff Hughes has suffered a minor health scare, but is reported to be recovering well. Mr. Hughes shared that incident happened 2 days ago. Nationwide FM carried an update on the situation early Thursday morning.
2 mornings ago, I got a scare, woke up with blurred vision and not walking steadily. So I've been at Andrews since then, and they have been taking good care of me. And I should be out of the hospital by tomorrow. And I'm to be told by my doctors how long they want me to be out.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It's now time for the Business Minute.
Salada Foods Jamaica has reported net profits of $171.5 million for the year under review on gross revenues of $1.6 billion. The company says revenue increased by nearly 8%, driven mainly by strong performance in the domestic market, reflecting continued demand across its brand portfolio. Despite higher input costs, including record high green coffee bean prices, Salada recorded a 6.8% increase in gross profit to $487.9 million, while maintaining a gross margin of just over 30%. Further afield, the Trump administration's decision to deploy National Guard troops to several U.S. cities didn't come cheap. It cost taxpayers roughly $496 million from June through December, according to the Congressional Budget Office. The nonpartisan CBO says if these deployments keep going through 2026, the final tally could rise to $1.1 billion. The findings are based on the deployments to Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Memphis, Portland, and Chicago. The sending of troops to New Orleans was not included with the data. A White House spokeswoman responded to the CBO estimates by saying the deployments helped lessen crime in the respective cities. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Carrie Simpson.
Thank you, Carrie, and it's now time for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, the United Nations says it remains on track to provide full logistical and operational support to Haiti's gang suppression force by the end of March. UN spokesperson says mission support services for the UN office in Haiti will begin February 1st. Now more staff and equipment are already being deployed to Port-au-Prince and Santo Domingo as preparations continue for the force's arrival in April. And on the international scene, forecasters warn a powerful new blast of Arctic air is set to hit the eastern half of the U.S. from Friday through Monday, driving temperatures sharply lower. The cold snap could shatter up to 200 daily records, stretching as far south as Florida. Now millions are already bracing for dangerous conditions, while parts of the south continue to struggle with power outages from the last round of icy weather. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Aaliyah Bryant.
Thank you, Alia. We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.